Lance, we talked a lot about J.B. Brown over the course of the fall. I'm just wondering how he's lived up to the expectations you had for him.
He's been so far everything we wanted and what we thought he could add to our defense and to our program. Works hard. He's a physical player. Great acceleration and speed. So still learning our system and doing things, but yeah, he's going to help us this year.
Is he still filling in for Taiwan, or is Taiwan back?
Yeah, Taiwan did some today. You know, he's not back on everything, but he's back. So.
And then, is Jalen still progressing, or is he still
Yeah, still progressing. Yeah.
Yeah, about Taiwan, I know you had kind of cited him as an example of a possible breakout player earlier in the summer. Just how do you think he's progressed in that domain?
Well, I wish I could give you more because he's been really limited here. He's missed some time and just starting to work his way back. But that said, just his maturity and growth and confidence and all those things, you see a difference in him than the past. So I'm anxious to see it all, you know, play out here in the upcoming weeks. But you know, from where he's at is, you know, understanding the extra time and the studying and doing those things, and he's become a, you know, a little more vocal and confident leader. Not quite where we want to get him to. That sometimes it's not in everyone's beginning DNA, so to speak. But he'll get there, and again. Though, you know, him and JB, both those guys run well, both physical players, and things that we're going to need from both of them.
And I wanted to ask about the defensive tackles who we talked to a couple of days ago. Just how have you seen that group coming together with the mixture of new and old guys?
Yeah, I like where it's progressing there as well. You never know till it's you know, the lights are on, but I think Devin Phillips has been a big addition, not just size-wise, but again, a guy with maturity. He's very humble but hardworking, well-respected within the locker room, and he gives us, he's given us things that we maybe haven't had there before. Tommy Dunn continues to get better all the time. He has we feel a pretty special skill set, and DJ Withers continues to show things. Gage Keys was slowed, missed a few days, but back out there today. So, you know, that beginning, and then there's two guys that have played, and, you know, Caleb Taylor and Keenan Caldwell. Keenan redshirted last year. You know, I've seen improvement in both of those guys, and really working at understanding what we're trying to get from them. So again, that in a position that rotates, we're going to need all those guys. And then Nick Harold and Marcus Kelvin, the two freshman scholarship players that came in, really feel good about their futures and what we thought they'd give us. So.
You guys held your first scrimmage of camp, I believe, on Wednesday night. What did that look like, and what do you feel like you learned about your team during
it? Trying to remember my days, Michael. Sorry. It's you know, but all in all, I thought offensively came out really, you know, again, red zone periods and things like that. Executing efficiently in that, you know, defensively. Once again, we need to start faster and do things. But once we got into true open field stuff, I thought we settled down, did some things. Again, you hope as you progress through these things that you get everybody on the field at the same time. You know, other guys, you know, Craig Young's been limited at certain times. Mello Dotson's, you know, as well. O.J. Burrows did probably the most he's done in camp today. So you're trying to evaluate it all, but you're watching some individuals, but collectively units are going to work together. Aren't quite there yet. So, but yeah, and I think, you know, we haven't talked enough about him, but again, I know we talked about it last year. I really think, once again, Jason Bean's having a very fine camp, and that's showing. I like the way our running backs have played. And the receiver group has been another group that's had guys out a little bit, but when they're out there, pleased with you know, our playmaking ability out there.
And with the scrimmages overall, then you mentioned the moving parts, guys in and out.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you read into that, and I guess how do you kind of separate the different parts of it?
I guess what you mean by moving, how do I read that? Just as, I mean, everybody goes through soft tissue stuff right now. You know, it's frustrating for everybody involved. is to talk to our trainers. I mean, this is a sport that you do not, you don't get to go do it till you get to go really do it. You try to simulate a lot of things, but when you have to really go out and do all the things that is needed at the speed, and then add the contact and all those things, there's things that your body has to adapt to and work through, and wish there was a special answer to that, and what we do, and so try to balance those emotions as we go through it, because I don't think it's by a lack of want to be out there, and we'll get there, but all in all, I think it allows people again to get opportunities to and there's some guys that are showing that, and are probably showing that they can be dependable and productive.
I'm going to talk to you on Monday. You mentioned Austin Booker as someone that has caught your attention.
Yeah.
I guess over the past week, what have you seen from him, and just what have you thought about the way he's
Again,
playing?
his length is really outstanding. His work ethic and what he's going to be able to do, he's improving all the time. He hasn't played a lot of football, so he's going to, and those are the things I think you're going to see a guy continually get better. Dylan Brooks made a play today too. You look at him and Dylan as, Jeremy and Hatch and the other guys there, but those two guys give us length that we really haven't had there, and you add a few other guys in there as well. At times, even Gage Keys, our length starts to be where you really like it, and it makes difficult throwing lanes when their hands get up and things are good. So, but I like that. I think Patrick Joyner's a guy who didn't go really much through spring. He's been battling, trying to get healthy. He's been able to show flashes as well as helping this football team. So, we're talking about some of these new additions and how we're going to need them to help this defense.
With JB, you talked about how he's still learning the system and that kind of thing. What do you envision will be the point where you realize he's got it? Do you think it can happen before the start of the season? Will it be?
I don't want to say.
game?
I understand what you're saying, man. I don't want to say he doesn't have it.
Sure,
There's just little things that, things happen. It might be, seeing things sooner. It could be, motions and shifts that change calls or responsibilities, and just little things like that. So it becomes a little more natural. I don't want to sit there and say that, and you guys will talk to Chris and he'll answer it better than me probably, but it's not that we're sitting there going like he's got miles to go and figuring this out. He's doing fine because, he shows up every day. Every day there's something, and when there's if there's a hole and a gap there and there's something to go, he doesn't hesitate, and he goes and he's in the backfield, and he can run sideline to sideline for us as good as anybody at that position. So those things are all encouraging. But sometimes you're spoiled by the Rich Millers of the world that have been around it and have had a real good feel of all the spots. And I guess what I'm trying to say, Matt, is if Rich wasn't out there, him and Taiwan, they can't rely on Rich to be the make it right guy all the time. And that sometimes we have done that. And that's why Chris tries to multi-train. Yeah. Same thing in the offensive line. What we try to do is make sure the best we can with bodies is that if a linebacker goes down, we want to have the ability to have the fourth best linebacker on the field. And that's not against the fifth or sixth or seventh, but that's how you want it to go, and that's where you got to understand the complete part of the defense, and that takes time, and you're getting a lot thrown at you.
In general terms, not talking about JB at all here, but when you do have guys that are learning, whether they're freshmen or transfers or whatever, what is it that you see or look for that tells you, okay, yeah, they're comfortable, they've got it, whatever, however you want to word that. What is there one thing that you look for there?
I don't know if there's one thing. I think as you're asking, I'd probably say like I'm thinking about JB at the moment.
Sure.
Is when you see them play as natural and as fast, confidently as you saw on the film of whether it been high school or in these cases at their last institution. Because there's not that little hesitancy, or they're not just running around. There's he knows what he's doing, he sees it, and he goes. And that's the confidence that it comes back to natural, that things slow down for him a little bit, and there's that understanding. And in some positions, with that goes, you see a difference in their confidence. there's not that, you know, they're kind of looking sometimes or doing those things. They're set. So
Cool. Thanks.
Lance, you look at David Greaves, how's the,
I'm sorry.
you look at David Greaves, the punter
Yeah.
from Australia, how's he done in his transition?
Extremely well. You know, I haven't heard, you know, anyone besides what, you know, there's a lot new to him, okay, as well. So we got to make sure, but I don't care how old you are, you pack up and you move to a new culture and a way of doing things and fit in well with the guys. He's a humble guy, he's mature, all those things. So yeah, excited and probably better than I expected.
Lance, I know you got guys competing at place kicker. What have you seen from those guys involved?
Yeah, I think we're improved there immensely right now without being in game conditions, of course, and crowd and the whole environment. But I really like where we're at consistency-wise, and it's you know, I haven't asked, and that's on purpose yet, to see the charting numbers. I wanted to go a little bit longer before I really study that, but you know, Seth, Charlie, and Owen have all done a good job and had their days, and yeah, like I said, we're deeper and more consistent than we have been. And then Tabor's still there, you know, and Tabor can do it as well, but really like the fact that when we keep him on kickoffs, and but then Owen is also kicked off very well. He's a big, strong guy, and so I like our options there and the production we're getting.
Jason Gilliam's kind of come off that bad injury. What have you seen from him
Yeah.
so far?
Again, I think he's done extremely well. There's going to be days with soreness and some things, but not like, you know, in fact, I thought we'd have to monitor it a little bit more than we have. As you guys know as well, you know, Jason's a great young man and he's hard working, but you know, I forgot, it was our first night practice, and I walked in the eating area, and he's the only guy in the room, and it happened to be his birthday, and he's sitting there and he's got 5 different drinks there, 2 Gatorades, 2 waters, whatever, ready to hydrate, ready to go, looking through notes, doing whatever it's going to take, and he's passionate about what he's doing. He's learning a new position, and also we know his special teams contribution is going to be a lot as well. So excited about what he's doing. I think Craig Young has helped him a lot, and again, as he adapts and works into this.
About a week left in fall camp. Are things kind of where you thought they'd be?
Yeah, I don't want to say that there was a set. I guess I'm a observation, and let's see where I'm not. I'd say this: we've thrown, you know, considering the last 2 where we're at now, we have thrown so much more at these guys. They understand what's expected, though, and I think they've handled it very businesslike in how they've gone about it in preparation and understanding. They take coaching really well. We can push them again for more, and pointing out when we're not pleased with something, and explaining the whys of where we have to get better if we're going to be a team that we want to be. And I think they respond really well. Again, a lot to clean up, you know, but you know, I'll say that every week, and we'll keep pushing them. And but yeah, I like where we're heading, and but still plenty to do.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, when you've got 100 guys out there plus, followed with 2 fields, some coaches will go up in a tower so they can see everything, but you're at ground level view.
They didn't give me a tower yet, you know.
Do you want a tower?
I don't know. What's that?
Do you want a tower?
No.
Why is ground level so good for you? I mean, you've got the interaction. You can talk to guys on the field, but is that the view that you
I
like?
can talk to a lot of people, as you see. I just like it. Would I see myself doing that? You know, there's good separation for process, but I like to, you get around it, you see it, you hear the coaching points as well. What also is being said, you see the reaction. You get a better feel for strain and understanding. There's a lot there. You know, I probably stood, you know, I mean, guys asked that a few weeks ago or whatever. I've stood behind the defense a lot more this year than before. A lot of different things of watching what we're doing. We use our headsets quite a bit as coaches. You know, in the last couple of years, I get to hear what the coaches are saying as well. So a lot of good things there. But yeah, and then of course when I do see something small, I have a chance to talk to the player as well.
When guys have been getting after it, grinding for a couple of weeks, what do you learn about their toughness, their focus when you know that their legs are tired, their brains are tired?
Yeah, we talk about it. Some things, okay. There's, we're not gonna play with injuries. Sometimes you got to play through some pain, and you got to work through the soreness. And I tell them all the time, and they're tired of me. If it was easy, everybody could do it. Okay, there's a certain degree that to play this game at this level, it takes a special person. It takes a special attitude, and this is the toughest time. But I really think the modifications that have been made in college football for what we get to do a little more in the summer, how they've added days off, but yet the number of practices, how you do it. And this is the best schedule we ever put together for the guys, with rotation of how many practices a day off, when we're doing it, the couple night practices. I was talking to Dominic Puni yesterday, I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago, I guess, I'm sorry. And so it's the best his body has felt. And but yeah, this is part of it. And honestly, guys, this stretch right now, today, tomorrow, and what's the next day? Monday, and is probably the toughest stretch, because then we're off on Tuesday, and then there's, we head towards the weekend with Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we're getting ready for school start. So there's light at the end of the tunnel of camp after Tuesday, probably. So this is the grind part of it, if there is going to be one, and we've addressed that and talked about it. But yeah, and keep encouraging them. I think the weather cooperated today. The humidity wasn't quite what we thought it was going to be, but our hydration, our all those things have been better. And again, I admire their work ethic and what they do to get ready.
Anything else, Coach?
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.